Hello, and welcome to the Unlock Your Life Purpose Summit. I am your host, Lorna Moon, and today we have a very, very special guest. We have Sarah Humphreys, who's a business strategist and confident coach. She is a serial entrepreneur and a Mind Valley ambassador. But more importantly than all that, which all that is very important, Sarah has been a very important part of my journey and my journey as growing as a coach, and also my journey in building out this summit. So I'm very, very excited to include her. So let's welcome Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's so great to have you. You've been such an inspiration to me in the masterminds that we've been in, and you've just shared such wisdom and great books that have helped me so much that I just couldn't imagine doing this without having you on board.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
So you are somebody who's always inspired me. You've always been so confident in what you're doing, what you're offering. You get these brilliant ideas and you come up with these courses and all this. So clearly you're living your purpose. How did you come to be living your purpose? How did your journey get you here?
Well, it's something that is a really interesting thing to think about, and something, it's not always top of your mind. And when I think about it, even though I have been running my own businesses for 25 years and I've created 6, 7 successful businesses.
Wow.
I've had really great opportunities come my way. Even though I've had all those things, there was a time when I was at school. I struggled at school. I found school very difficult. Didn't come naturally to me at all. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it with every bone in my body. Even though I worked really hard, I used to come average, below average, bottom sets. And because of that trying hard and not doing well, I gave up on it.
Wow.
I didn't go. I misbehaved. I was one of those terrible teenagers. And when I left school with no grades, nothing, I started my first job as a hairdresser.
Really?
And I started hairdressing school, and that's where I really experienced my first taste of success. I fell into this job with such passion, and it was the first time I was getting top marks. I was just flying. It felt easy to me. It was flowing. And I had an amazing teacher called Bev. And when somebody sees the light in you?
Yes.
And you experience that thing where somebody can see something in you. You didn't know it was there. It's been so hidden. And then somebody reveals that, you have got a natural talent and ability and you're good at something.
Mm-hmm.
That was my moment.
Wow.
Of experiencing for the first time being good at something and being good at something easily.
Wow.
And I developed from that into being very good at what I did, thoroughly enjoying it and loving it, and building a very successful hairdressing business.
Wow.
And you know what? It just felt so good. And so many elements of that I've still included in my life now. And when I look back on that time, I know that being with her and having that feeling of being in flow and making it feel easy really push forward the confidence. When you feel good at something and when you feel like it's easy, the confidence comes forward. And that cycle of feeling good about it, great achievements, feeling confident and moving on, that really propelled me forward with my businesses. And from that first bit of success, I had that feeling. I've always had this feeling in my heart that there's more to me than this. More to me than this. And that has driven me. And I've spoken to other people that have had that as well. And when something drives you like that, and so when I finished that career, I looked to the next thing, and I have built all my businesses like that. One thing's led to the next thing, led to the
Wow.
next thing. And now I do coaching. Coaching found me. I was running other businesses at the time, and people was asking me to coach there. Now I won a Women in Business award, and people kept coming to me. I started teaching online courses, business courses, and people were coming to me to coach them, and I still couldn't see it. And it took me having an eye condition to then start doing my coaching. And when you do coaching, you realize that you were born to do this, and all the things you've been through have led you to that path. So that is why I do what I do, because I want to be their Bev, the Bev that I had. I want to see the person that sees something in people that want to grow a successful business, but they haven't got the confidence to do that. I want to be their Bev and say, you know, this is what you can do. This is how you can do it. And really, that's my driving force behind what I do, to be the person for other businesses, to help them.
Wow. That's so powerful. So from hairdressing, where did you go? I mean, how many steps did it take before you got to coaching?
So from hairdressing, I then had my children,
Mm-hmm.
and I started selling product-based things.
Mm-hmm.
And I love doing this. And this is where I really first discovered a love for selling, and how there's energy in the air when people are buying and when women are buying. It's a good thing. That exchange, you can feel it in the air. So I started product-based business, and then that developed into weddings. I was working in the wedding industry, doing big events. And then I developed from there into creating my own big events, big in-person events.
Wow.
And I had an online magazine as well that was also in print. So I did other things in between. I sort of, the business has always progressed and got bigger and bigger. And I got to a point when I was running 3 businesses that I was getting burnout. I was doing a lot of things. And if you've ever done events or anything like that, the external pressure of worrying of people going to turn up, and it's like a relief. When I finished all that, that was quite a relief, to be honest. And coaching is just like a walk in the park.
So it's just natural to you. Now you just use everything that you've learned along the way.
Yeah. And for me personally, when I started coaching, I got certifications because that suited me. And it's not for everybody, but personally for me, I felt it was important to me to have certifications. And I'm an NLP practitioner as well, and I'm really passionate about the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
The confidence element is so important with business.
Oh yeah.
We've spoke about this many a times. If there is a pip of resistance, we can know the know-hows, how to do it. We can have it drawn out for us step by step. But if we've got resistance, we just won't move forward from that.
No, you're right. So getting people past that, so they have to get past that before you can really help them on the mechanics of their business.
It is, isn't it? Because nobody gets away without feeling any resistance.
No, they certainly don't.
Nobody thinks, do you know what, this is easy for me. I can just do it all. I can just rock up and I nail it all. But having that level, I think it's so great to sort of recognize, does it feel uncomfortable? And if it does, it's the right thing.
Yeah.
Go for it anyway.
That's great. Yeah, because that discomfort is it's just you stretching and growing.
It is.
It's not.
If it was easy, everyone would be millionaires.
But I always think when I get to that place, I think about every like job or anything that I ever had, even when I was like, a kid starting a fast food job. I'm worried like, what if I can't do it? What if I can't like operate the cash register properly? Or if I can't, make the change, or you can't learn how to make the burgers or whatever it is. And you're so scared, like when you first go in, like, what if I can't do it? I'm this horrible failure and they throw me out of the fast food restaurant and I can't even do that. And then you do it and it's like so easy. You're like, why was I worried that I couldn't make a burger or drop some French fries in the oil or something?
It's mad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you're young, you do go for things more often. But I think as we get older and you grow in a business, the doubt starts coming in. It starts creeping up. So I love all that. And then I love, when somebody's in that position to do like a 10,000 foot view over and say, okay, what's the best path out?
Mm-hmm. So are you able to put an element of that in your online courses as well? Or is that mostly on the one-on-one work, or how do you see that play out?
I tend to do mainly one-on-one work because
Okay.
of that reason, because I have got some courses, but I find, like I've just said, I'm so driven by the fact that if you've got resistance, I don't want somebody to pay a lot of money for a course and then not feel confident to go through with it.
Yeah.
So that's the important part for me, is helping someone get over the resistance, empowering them to shine in the light on the opportunities and the possibilities. That's what I feel is important.
That's great. So tell me about one of your favorite clients. I don't obviously not names or anything like that, but tell me about one of your favorite situations where you kind of felt like, wow, this is really where I'm carrying on what Bev did for me.
So many, to be honest. And because I do obviously work with people that are in a place that are feeling confused and overwhelmed, there's so much joy in helping somebody to unravel and pick all of that overwhelm, and to really, I talk about this a lot. You really need to know your why in the first place, why you are doing it, because it's not going to feel easy all of the time. There is going to be times when you think, shall I just go and get a job? There is going to be those times. So when we can revert back to our why and have that so strong ingrained in us, this is why I'm doing it, and believe that somebody needs to hear what you've got to say, because that will help you to be committed to showing up. And I've had some amazing clients that have literally, because owning your own business, you have to have visibility. You can't be the world's best kept secret.
No.
So if there's any doubt in ability or a lack of confidence, you're not going, people aren't going to say, hey, this is what I do, this is how I help people.
Yeah, you're right. You're going to be like, what do you do? Well, right?
Exactly. And just not show up.
Yeah.
At all. So yeah, guiding, I've had some wonderful clients that I've guided through that process and come through, and then gone on to have great success. And people aren't always driven by being successful in terms of monetary. Just saying, yeah, I've done it, I can do this, I am now helping people to have a bigger impact.
Wow. That applies so much in business and just in life itself.
Yeah.
Like whatever your purpose is, whether it's owning a business and running a business or just, singing or something, right? You have to have that confidence, and you have to have that knowing, that inner why, that knowing why you're sharing your gift with the world, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you don't, you're going to hide, but then you're going to have so many regrets.
Yes. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? And we've, in our mastermind that we've been doing, I've wanted to write a book for 20 years. And
Mm-hmm.
I really had to unpick that, why I hadn't done it. And I knew if I never do it, it would be such a regret. It would be a big regret for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, helping somebody, anybody who's coaching, to help somebody to overcome that so you can fulfill a dream of your own
Mm-hmm.
is so incredible. And we all have something that needs unpacking.
That is so true. That sentence right there, we all have something that needs unpacking. It is. And that's oftentimes what's hiding your gift.
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Your biggest gift is hiding behind what needs unpacking.
Yeah.
And we have to just have the courage to unpack it.
And do you know what? The remarkable thing I always find is the real root of it is we're not even ridiculous. It's like, what? Why? That?
Mm-hmm. It's often something small that just gets built upon and built upon and built upon, and the small thing casts this big shadow.
No.
And when you stop running from it and you do unpack it, you're like, that wasn't so bad. Why did I let that torture me for so long?
Yeah. It lightens it. And I love that. I've just come off a call with a wonderful client of mine. And she had such a big insight. I could physically see her. When
Like,
somebody lightened, she was like, oh my goodness, she says, it just never occurred to me. And I could see her physically lighten.
yes.
And that moment, you think, that needed to happen. But we can only have our own insights.
Yeah.
Nobody can say, you've got to do this. This is what you do next.
Yeah, you're right. Because they can give you all the doing, but sometimes it's like the easiest thing to do once you figure out how to do it. It's like you don't know how to do that. I don't know how to let go of this, or I don't know how to do this. And then once you do it, you're like, oh my God, that was dumb.
It is. It is.
Oh, oh, goodness. That's so funny. That is so funny. That reminds me of recently this was like a few months ago. I just had this resistance around this thing, and there was an event that happened where someone didn't invite me to be part of something they were doing, but I didn't want to be part of it. Like if they had asked me to be part of it, I would have said, "Oh wow, thank you so much for thinking of me, but it's not really the direction I want to go." But I had this weird thing in me just because they didn't ask me to do it. And I had to say, what is this all about? Why am I like internally so upset by not getting asked to do something that I didn't even want to do? And then realized it was just tied to something from, childhood, and not even anything big, but something small. And once I figured that out, it was like, it was just like taking, like you said, physically lightning, like taking this thing off of me.
Yeah.
And it's like little things like that can hide, big breakthroughs.
No. And you know what? I always think, what a shame
Mm-hmm.
to hide your fabulousness by something that's unnecessary.
Yeah. We hide so much, and we have so much fear of visibility. A lot of people do, because of, probably a lot of it's, when you were a kid, either, you got picked on, so you didn't want to be visible, you want to be hidden, so you didn't get picked on. Or maybe there was an abusive parent that if you were visible, you got their wrath, or something like that, that says, that puts this "it's not safe to be visible" thing. And so we hide in fear and we hide our gifts. But when we're really shining, like the people that will pop up and criticize, because there's always going to be people criticize. There are going to be people criticize you if you hide. They'll find you to criticize you, or if you're outshining your light. So you might as well be outshining your light.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh my gosh, like this is, why would you be scared of that?
No.
It's like
And
we
the
have this
hilarious
fear
thing is,
from from the past, but it's like somebody saying something ugly about you on the internet is like, okay.
the hilarious thing is, normally the people that do that have not ever done it. They've never
No.
done it themselves. So you
And
think,
a lot of times it's because they're jealous. It's like your parents tell you, like, well, that kid's making fun of you because they're jealous. And it is, they're jealous. And so they have to cut you down. So it's a good thing to remember, like when you're out living your purpose, when you're out shining and you get that criticism, remember that that is actually someone who's jealous that you're doing it.
yeah. And I just said to my client before, when we see someone else showing up, and I know we just said about people, some people criticizing, but it's very rare. You normally look at that person and think, oh, do you know what? I love that, or they're great, or
Yeah.
they look lovely.
I wish I could do that, or I wish I was,
Yeah,
bold enough to do that or something.
yes. And so when you get over yourself and take yourself out of the equation and instead focus on the person that does need to hear this, that you've got
Mm-hmm.
to say, that's
Yeah.
when you can really sort of move forward and step into your light and, you know, live your purpose, then go on to do the things that you want to do. I mean, it's just incredible. And that small mindset shift,
Mm-hmm.
you can see obstacles or you can see opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
People are normally in, we all drift sometimes into the other camp. And it's obvious when we think about it, if we are thinking, I can't do that, how can I do that? Oh, I'm going to be no good at that. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
carry on going down there. And that's what will present to us.
Yeah.
And every time we look for the opportunities, oh, could I do that? How can I do that? And ask ourselves the questions, because
Mm.
when we ask these questions, our mind is looking for the answer.
Yes.
And so it will look for the answer for you, present it to you, and then the opportunities come.
I love that. See, that was gold right there. Instead of, I couldn't do that, I would have no idea how to do that. How could I do that?
Yeah.
Would it be possible for me to do that? What would I need to learn to do that? Because you're right, the brain, and I've studied the brain, your brain loves to answer questions.
Yeah.
It loves to answer questions. If you ask, wow, how could I do that? Your brain's going to go to work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then you might find out that's just like it notices, oh, look, here's a course on this. Here's
Yeah.
a seminar that's coming up on that thing that you asked me. How could I possibly do this? Look, here's a way you could possibly do it. Your brain tries to help you. So just that from statement, I don't know how, to how could I,
Yeah.
is a total game changer, right?
I had many years working on my own, feeling lonely in my business. And I resented other people having work friends and doing work things. And, I used to think, oh, I'm all on my own. I've got no one to talk to about my business. I've got no one to help me. I'm really getting in a downward spiral of that. And then I completely flipped it on its head. And I decided every time I thought that, I would switch that and think, I meet more people like me. I
Mm.
meet more people like me. I meet more people like me. And within weeks, I made new connections. I met new people. Like I'd be in a group and someone would say, hey, I'm looking for an accountability partner. I'd be like, cool. I'd join up with them. And
Yeah.
then I'd still be chatting with them now. And, I now, if I'd have known, looking back at my life 2 years ago, if I'd have known that every day I'd talk to people in different countries, I would never have believed it. I would never have said, I'll be talking to someone in America and somebody in Bulgaria and someone in Norway, different people every day all over the world. I would never have believed that. But I do believe when I change my thoughts to, telling myself I was going to meet more people like me,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it all fell into place.
Wow. It's so magical, our brains. And even though we have so much modern science on one thing, there's a lot of research that's been done on this. And as coaches, and you're an NLP practitioner, I'm a trained hypnotherapist, like we've dove into those studies. And so we know these things, right? We've learned them. And so when we learn, we apply them, we see them. But the mainstream medical community ignores it. They tell people, oh, wow, you might get diabetes, you might get this, you might get that, instead of saying, hey, you know what, your blood numbers aren't perfect. Why don't you start asking yourself, how can I make better choices when I eat? How can I be healthier? Why don't you have that on your mindset instead of planning in your brain, you might get all these horrible diseases?
No.
The mainstream medical community completely ignores the scientific research that we as coaches and embrace.
Yeah. I had something really interesting. I have got an eye condition called glaucoma. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I've heard it.
Basically, I'm losing my vision. And that's what happened 2 years ago when I had to stop my other businesses, because I dramatically lost a lot of vision. And this isn't just like gradually losing, your eyesight deteriorating.
It gets really cloudy, right?
Well, black spots, completely black across the center of my eyes. So I had to have a very quick emergency operation because I lost a lot of vision very quickly. And I get checked regularly every 3 months or so. So they're on it. And so I've had 2 operations, so one eye and then the other one the year after. And last summer, I was at the hospital for one of my appointments. And I did have a time where I was so worried about going blind. It consumed me. Will I be able to drive? How will I be able to work? You get in this cycle. And I started meditating a few years ago and really focusing on, that's not going to happen. Everything's going to be fine. And I don't, really looking on the positive side. And my consultant at the hospital said to me, do you meditate? I said, yes, I do. And he says, well, let's just say, like you said, the medical profession, they don't like to admit to these other things. And he said, well, let's just say positive people have positive results. So if you can focus and put your energy into, this, it's going to be fine, and you're going to have complete vision, and it's not going to deteriorate. He says, let's just say positive people have positive results. And I thought, wow, for him to say that, then
yeah, so you're just like, instead, how can my eyesight improve every single day? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, powerful.
Yeah.
So has it?
Well, the trouble is with your eyes, you don't really know, because they do the normal vision testing, but they can't really tell. Well, it hasn't deteriorated any more than it had, fingers crossed. So I always believe you can just do the best you can do in any situation. And, this works for me, and that's what I will carry on doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's great. Wow. That's so good. That even shows in, because you had gone through a part where it was rapidly declining and you had your surgeries, but you also have changed your mindset around that, and it hasn't gotten any worse. Yeah. So for the, to me, that's proof.
Wow, do you know what? It is. And, it can be hard at times, when we've got things, especially medical things, you can't always, we can't be happy all of the time. And that's just life.
But one of the other speakers that I did talk to, she's a neurohumorist, and she has one of the interviews, and she talked about that the research and all the research that had been done on humor, and humor is also another way to turn that around. So like the same thing that you use with the meditation and the concentrating on positive, like just watching funny things.
Oh, I love that. We do that. Do you do that in the evenings? We'll go, we need something funny. And we'll find one of our favorite comedians. We'll search down and then we'll have a really good laugh. It's almost as good a relief
Mm-hmm.
as having a good cry, isn't it? You know, having a good
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah. She said the science is behind that,
Yeah.
that is huge. It's life-changing. So definitely don't discount that.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's good. Yeah. So that funny stuff you're watching, she says she starts her day just with 5 or 10 minutes of something funny,
Yeah.
and to end her day like that.
Do you know what? That's made me really curious. Does she have to watch something funny, or can she sort of
She can have like, she
make
think of a
herself laugh?
funny memory or something that
Oh,
always
that's
makes her
good.
laugh. She just has like some memories in her memory bank of, different things in her life that are really funny. And those are her go-tos as well for like a stressful situation, or if she's feeling really down, like, oh, let me remember and go back to that memory. So it doesn't have to be, some people will like, oh, I can't think of anything funny when I'm stressed out. So that might be the time to pull up a silly cat video or something, on the internet, but you can also just use what's already in your head.
Do you know what? It's just remind me of that really funny Facebook one. It's like Friday, and there's like they open the car door, and it's like, I can't think what the song is, but they're dancing like along the side of the car, and you sort of, when you watch it, you think, it does make you want to dance. And I have saved them before. Sometimes you think, oh yeah, let's just watch that. That's funny.
Yeah. So that's also the perfect hack, she said, for your health and stuff as well.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
I look forward to catching up with that one then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, wow. So, oh, before we go, I know that you had something that you wanted to share, a special gift for our audience.
Yes. Well, I have created a ebook. It's only a short ebook. It's really actionable, and at the end of each chapter, um, it's all about how to really get a deep understanding of your ideal clients. It's called Make Your Next Move. So you really, if you're at a point where you sort of think either I'm not sure who my ideal clients are, or I need to pivot in some way, it really helps you to align with who your ideal clients are, and then how you can create offers that will be perfect for them. Because I believe as coaches, we're like a piece of plasticine that we can mold our business and mold what we talk about to suit
Mhm.
the what's going on in the environment. And let's face it, there's been a lot going on lately,
Yes,
and
there.
everybody is experiencing change,
Mm.
everybody. So being aware of that, and really that really helps to know how to change anything you need to offer to adapt to your ideal client. So yes, I would love to share that, and it is great, be a great powerful tool for anybody that's interested in that.
Well, there will be a big fat button right below this video to take advantage of that. And I can see that being so useful, not just for coaches or consultants, but even any service provider. You're talking about hairdressers, whatever, right? You might think of, well, in this climate, maybe people aren't spending as much on coloring or highlights or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm not hair extensions. How can I pivot to focus on the clients that I can best serve during this time? Even for people who are job seekers. If you were
Yeah,
laid off and you say, well, what am I going to do now? I need another job. Knowing your ideal client in this case could be your ideal employer, your ideal type of company you want to work for, and how to mold your experience, and which is your personal offer of what you can offer the company to the places you want to work. So I see this as being so valuable, not just for coaches and consultants, but really for anyone. So
yeah,
that's so
absolutely.
exciting that you have that. So everybody make sure that you click that button and get hold of that, because that is just in this time, really, in any time, it's so valuable. So I'm so grateful that you have that for us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sarah, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the summit.
Oh,
Loved having you. And I love all the insights that you shared. Thank you so much.
thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.